1, 2, 3.
Go!
Hey, good afternoon, Rock Point Community Church. We're so glad that you chose to join us for this afternoon's devotion. I'm Pastor Johnnie, the youth pastor at Rock Point, and this is my wife, Kate, and my daughter, Ellie,
Say hi.
and my son, Johnnie, who just turned 2, might join us in the frame as well. He's behind the camera over there, so you might see him. So today's devotion, we're going to be looking at, again, the Jesus Storybook Bible. This is one of our favorites because it alerts us to every story that they've written about the Bible, from the Bible, points us back or toward to Christ. So today we're looking at The Singer. And The Singer is on page 228. So if you have the book, why don't you follow along, but I'm going to read it to my daughter and my wife, and then we'll talk about it for a moment. The Singer. Wherever Jesus went, lots of people went too. They loved being near him. Old people, young people, all kinds of people came to see Jesus. Sick people, well people, happy, sad, worried people, lots of worried people, worrying about a lot of things. What if we don't have enough food, or clothes, or suppose we run out of money? What if there isn't enough, and everything goes wrong? And we won't be all right. What then? When Jesus saw all the people, his heart was filled with love for them. They were like a little flock of sheep that didn't have a shepherd to take care of them. So Jesus sat them all down and he talked to them. The people sat quietly on the grassy mountainside and listened. From where they sat, they could see the blue lake glittering below them and little fishing boats coming in from a night's catch. The spring air was fresh and clear, much like today. There's the boat coming in and a beautiful tree, and Jesus sat them down on the hillside. Look at that pretty bird.
This one's tiny. This one's the same too.
They're all moms, huh?
This one's the mean chicken.
The mean chicken looks like it's bringing groceries home. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
All right, so check this out. What does Jesus say here? See those birds over there, Jesus said? Everyone looked. Little sparrows were pecking at seeds along the stony path. Where do they get their food? Perhaps they have pantries all stocked up? Cabinets full of food? Everyone laughed. Who ever seen a bird with a bag of groceries? No, Jesus said. They don't need to worry about that because God knows what they need and he feeds them.
But he doesn't have another kid.
You're right.
He has only one kid.
He only has one kid.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay.
And what about these wild flowers? Ellie, are flowers pretty?
Look at those flowers.
Everyone, you can have them. Everyone looked. All around them, flowers were growing. Anemones, daisies, pure white lilies. Where do they get their lovely clothes? Do they make them? Or do they go to work every day so they can buy them? Do they have closets full of clothes? What do you think?
I can see the flowers in the camera. Right
Oh, that's
there.
pretty. There's flowers behind us. Ellie, do the flowers have to go to work every day?
Yes.
Where do they go?
You can't.
Hey,
see
goofball.
them. I'm not a goofball.
I don't
Ellie,
think
do
flowers...
flowers do work?
Yeah. They
No.
go to sleep and they grow again.
They grow, yeah.
They grow.
That's why we have caterpillars that grow.
Yeah,
right.
we have caterpillars that grow.
Ellie, have you ever seen a flower putting on a dress?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying Jesus is asking.
That's silly.
No, Jesus says they don't need to worry about that because God clothes them in royal robes of splendor. Not even a king is that well dressed. Jesus says not even Solomon was dressed as well as these flowers are. They had never met a king, but as they gazed over the lake, glittering and sparkling below them, the hillsides dressed in reds and purples and golds, they felt a great burden lift from their hearts. They could not imagine anything more beautiful. Little flock, Jesus says, you are more important than birds, more important than flowers. The birds and the flowers don't sit and worry about things, and God doesn't want his children to worry either. God loves to look after the birds and the flowers, and he loves to look after you too. Jesus knew that God would always love and watch over the world he had made. Everything in it, the birds, the flowers, the trees, the animals, everything. And most of all, his children. Even though people had forgotten, they still knew their song. And it was the song of all of God's creation, that all of God's creation had sung to him from the very beginning. It was the song people's hearts were made to sing. God made us. He loves us. And he's very pleased with us. It was why Jesus had to come into the world to sing to them that wonderful song, to sing it not only with his voice, but with his whole life, so that God's children could remember it and join in and sing it too. Yeah, so this is a story that Jesus told. It tells us that Jesus will always provide for us, that God will always provide for us. And we definitely have worries nowadays, right? Do we have worries nowadays?
No.
A lot of us do, right? And it says,
We're glad you don't.
yeah, we're very glad you don't. Okay. A lot of people are worried about money and clothes and food. But what does Jesus say? He says he clothes the beautiful flowers and he feeds the birds and he takes care of his people. So Ellie, a bird feeder?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mommy filled it back up.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Ellie,
right.
so the question I'm going to ask you and I'm going to ask Ellie also is, what's something God has provided for you?
I think.
Ellie, what's something? Hey.
There's a birdie.
There is a birdie. What's something that
Ellie.
God has provided for you?
Me?
What has God given you?
You.
Food.
Food.
And
What else?
Heart.
A heart.
A heart. And what
What
can you
else?
do with your heart?
It just beats at you when you sleep.
It beats at you.
Yeah, when you sleep.
When you sleep?
When you yawn when you sleep.
What else has God given you?
Hair.
Hair.
He gave you beautiful curly hair.
Mine is so straight and like that. You match
Okay.
my hair.
Okay.
Listen.
So God takes great care of us, even amid this virus that that caused the pandemic that we're living through. God still takes care of us. So take heart and know that God is near to you. Thank you. We hope you have a wonderful week and stay close to God.